Saturday Soaring Sessions. By the way, in case you didn't realize it, you are enough. No matter what, you are enough. You always have, and you always will be enough. You see, no matter what you've done, no matter what anybody's done, we're enough. We're allowed to incarnate here because we are enough. We were allowed to come here to learn soul lessons, to teach each other the lessons. We're not these bodies. We're infinite spiritual beings having finite human experiences. But these finite human experiences can be hard. I admit that. I have no problem with that. Hey, it's hard. Take everything and squish it down into 3 dimensions. And then you try to understand it all. That's where oversitting it, just letting it rise up, and meditation helps. But you are enough, no matter what. Love yourself, be enough, and be free and unshakable. It's not really hard. It's already who you are. So we come to Earth to experience these things, and each experience is different. Every experience that each person has is different. These 2 eyes experience this thing. These 2 eyes experience things differently. If they didn't, we would only see in 1 dimension, and we'd walk into stuff. These 2 ears hear things differently, or we wouldn't be able to hear in stereo. We wouldn't be able to tell what's coming from over here or over here. These 2 hands feel things differently. Everything. The 2 sides of our tongue taste things differently. These 2 nostrils can smell things differently at the same time. It's incredible. So when we tap into the 6th sense, or actually the 1st sense of our intuition, then we can start really feeling and experiencing our enoughness. And you are enough. Love yourself. Be free. Because it makes you unshakable. When you never take anything personally, because you know you're enough, you are unshakable. What we think, we begin to believe. And then what we believe, we become. And what we become affects and effects others around us. So if we believe we're messed up, guilty, and shameful, we're hiding in our fear and our anger and our hate, well, that leads us to shame, which causes us to blame, and that leads us to suffering, and everyone else too. And that's a hard place to live. It sucks. It's a big puddle of suck. Sometimes for some people it's an ocean. And we have to release that. We have to let it go. We have to be free from it. We treat others as we want to be treated. We treat others as we treat ourselves. We love others as we love ourselves. So start treating yourself as if you are a part of God, because you are God's thought incarnate. The man from Nazareth said so. A bunch of them from India and all over the rest of the world said so. There were a whole bunch of them from Judea or Israel or whatever you want to call it that said so. All over the world. For every century, for every year that's been around, there's somebody telling you, you are enough. Love yourself. Be free. And then you can love others the way you love yourself. And these are commands. These are direct from the big man himself. Big whatever it is. The great ising its isness as us. Tells us to love ourselves as if we are God, because we're God's thought incarnate. And then we can love others. If I have a cup, but I have no water in it, not only do I not get a drink, but you can't have one either. People show you that bottle, and some people say it's half full, and some people say it's half empty, and I say there's enough water we can both have a drink. Well, even if your heart's only half full and you're working to fill it up, you've got enough to give a drink. Once it gets full, it just starts overflowing. Kindness. Well, guess what? People say kill them with kindness. And I used to think that kindness didn't kill, but that's not true. Because sometimes the kindest thing to do is to take the life from what's experiencing pain. Such as when we have our dog or cat or animal put to sleep. No one is better or worse than anyone else. It's just our human perception of whether things are better or worse, and our decision. Now, I'm not saying that Charles Manson is a good man or was a good man. I'm saying that from some perspectives, from a spiritual perspective, he was just doing what he agreed to do. From a human perspective, he was a horrible beast. What he did was he manipulated others into murdering for him. That's true psychopathy. Our decisions and our emotions are our own. They are our experience, but we ultimately decide what we are experiencing. Is what I'm experiencing bad just because I'm having to work 2 jobs while I'm building this incredible practice of helping people heal, while I'm building a band, while I'm putting books together? No, it's not a horrible thing. Maybe I don't have a lot of time. But then again, I have whatever time I'm allotted, and I'm making the best use of it that I can. And I even take time to relax and to laugh. Every day I work to laugh at something, if nothing else, at me. So our emotions and our moods are bound together. And what we decide to feel based on our thoughts creates this chemical cascade throughout our body, and that creates our feelings, and that creates our moods. So if we build our body to feel a certain way, then when we start changing how we're thinking, and we start changing how we're feeling, it's going to change how the body's working. Laughter is the best medicine. There's no way around that. You just can't get around it. Norman Cousins healed himself from ankylosing syndrome by sealing himself in a hotel room with as many videotapes of comedies as he could watch and overdosing on vitamin C, which is our stress drug. And I don't know exactly how it works. I know it helps the immune system, but it helps the immune system by helping us with stress, which stresses the immune system. And speaking of water, I hope you have some. Water of life, may you never thirst. Emotions aren't good or bad. Now, they may feel good or bad, but they have a right to exist, and they're not good or bad. They're just something that happens. You know, somebody stomps your foot, your emotion's going to be painful. Somebody pats you on the back and says, great job, your emotion's going to be incredible. They're still our decision. I've patted people on the back and said, hey man, or hey lady, great job. Blah, 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 blah. Well, when you put yourself down, or you don't accept, you don't receive the compliment, hey, guess what? They're going to stop real quick. Emotions have a right to exist. They're part of why we're here. And they're temporary. It's only our nervous system that's holding on to certain things from the past. That's why we keep cyclically re-experiencing things and why those memories keep running, because we're holding on to it. When we learn to let it go and we become free, it's an incredible way to live, because that energy now starts to flow, and energy is, or emotions are energy in motion. Nothing and no one can make us enough. We already are. We were born this way. We were born enough, and then we were taught that we weren't. Through culture, through society, through input, through religion, through school, through parenting, through siblings. We were taught that we aren't enough. And some people make a specific point of, you're not enough. They have to push other people down in order to feel tall, not realizing that if the other person actually accepts being pushed down, the originator isn't any taller. The other person just sank to their level. We have to realize everything for ourselves. There's just no way around it. There's no way we can get around letting ourselves know. No one can do it for us. Some people say, well, that person has to save me, or that ancient person has to save me. Well, guess what? No one can save you. And that ancient person that people hold up all the time, even though the Bible was misedited and manipulated to say these things, the main thing he taught was love yourself enough to love others. Remove the beam from your eye before you go chasing the mote in another's. That's what he taught. So if you're doing these things, and he even says so, if you're doing these things, following the commandments, you're good. Now, if this isn't what you believe, okay. But I'm not going to change my belief that says I'm supposed to love everybody. And right now, from what I see from people who call themselves the followers of the Nazarene, well, hey, guess what? They're some of the most hateful people on the planet. For thousands of years now, they've created warfare against people just because they didn't agree. And even amongst each other, because they didn't agree. Putting people to death. And in some cases and places, people of different religions, or even of the same religion, are putting each other to death. And some of the Muslim sects, from what I understand, it's over where a comma is, or wherever a pronunciation mark is, or how a word is said, or what it even means. It's kind of sad, really, when all you have to do is love each other. Our enoughness is our own state of being. And if we get to a point of never taking anything personally, when we get to a point of never taking anything personally, no one can break us out of it. It becomes unshakable. No one can take our enoughness from us unless we give it to them. No one can take our enoughness from us. They might be able to take the life of this body, but they can't take the enoughness. No matter what, we are already free. We were born free. We were born enough. And no one can change that. Now, certain individuals born in certain ways may not seem enough, but their soul contracts say, hey, you were born this way. You literally were born this way. And so you're still enough. The mendicants, the retarded people, the ones with the extra chromosome, the autistic people, however you want to say it. And believe me, only someone taking something personally or being insulted is going to take something personally. And one thing I suggest is stop getting offended for other people. It's one thing if you're looking to defend the innocent, but if someone can defend themselves, stop defending them unless they're asking you to, because more than likely, they don't want your defense. And more than likely, they're taking your defense of them as an offense. I've seen it happen countless times. We can pass through anything that's put before us. No matter what we think, no matter what we feel, we can pass through anything or around anything or over anything or under anything. If we meet a road that is blocked during our journey, we're not supposed to be going down that road. And believe me, The universe is going to challenge you to see if you're going to accept the pebble in the road as a block. It is only when it crumbles down both mountains on either side of you and says, no, this is not your way. And I've been there, and it sucks. You have to realize, no, this is not the way it's supposed to go. No matter how much you might want it, no matter how fun this way might be, this ain't your way. And it's hard. Otherwise, we can pass through anything. Sometimes we do have to turn around, but we're still passing around, over, under, or through. We're just not achieving what we thought we would or what we wanted to. And it's the process anyway. The process of the journey is the important thing. We can put the destination out here. It's the getting there that's important. As they said in the movie Cars, the old highway was there because people wanted to have a good time instead of get there in time. It's because people wanted to go someplace, and the going there was the most important part, not the getting there. Because one of these days, this body's going to end for everybody, no matter what. There are very few written about in all of the various scriptures from around the world that speak of someone's body being taken up. No matter what, we are enough. We're always learning things as we go. We learn and we learn and we learn and we learn and we learn. So keep learning. My granddaddy said, boy, learn something new every day. And I have the book that was open only when he was reading in it that was found in the kitchen. The day he died, he was learning something new. And I've taken that seriously. I've taken that to heart. And I look forward to having that book so I can start reading in it, because I have a stack of books that I read in every day. And I want to start reading in that book. It's an Audubon Field Guide to North American Wildlife and Plants and everything. He was an incredibly knowledgeable human being. So knowing that we are enough, well, how do we get that to happen? Well, put your hands on your heart. I am enough. I love myself. I am free. Repeat it, repeat it, repeat it, repeat it. I am enough. I love myself. I am free. Put your feeling into it. Convince the universe. I am enough. I love myself. And I am free. And that helps your subconscious mind start pulling to that. It's not tell yourself a better lie or tell yourself a lie until you believe it. Tell yourself the truth. And the truth is, you are enough. And you're supposed to love yourself. So do so. That's not narcissism. Narcissism is taken from the outside and put on the inside. Narcissus was chasing Echo. He fell into the reflection, and he died in the watery emotions beneath. He drowned in it. That's why our emotions are considered watery. The Greeks had an incredible insight that they put into their myths. I don't believe all those gods truly exist in some way or another. I'm sure there's some energetic being that answers to that name. To me, God is a great gem and has all these facets that we see are the names of all the different deities, the facets of the great Paramapurusha, the great consciousness. And yeah, some of them are dark, and some of them are light, and some of them are balanced. And we're here to live in balance. We are here to balance ourselves, to walk that razor's edge of balance. Now, one thing about walking the razor's edge, if you get tired, you can walk on the side and it's a nice flat plane, but it kind of leads you around all over the place until you get back up there and walk that razor's edge. And yeah, it can be difficult because you're balancing the whole time. Well, I get that. I don't deny that. But the great thing about walking in balance is get a little too far this way or a little too far that way, you can always come back. You can always self-correct. It is only when we get stuck and go too far one way or another, get stuck in the body or get stuck in our head, that we begin to lose the true balance. And sometimes being stuck in our body and our head at the same time creates a cross purpose that causes us to totally ignore our heart, causes us to totally ignore everyone around us, all those feelings, all those lovelinesses, all those experiences. And not every experience is beautiful from this perspective, but from this perspective, every experience is beautiful. See, when it comes to experience, we can see life as happening to us, for us, through us, or as us. But no matter how we're looking at it, life is always happening as us. We are attracting things based on our alignment, based on our feeling, based on our frequency. We don't attract who and what we want. We attract who and what we are. The hardest pill I ever had to swallow was that I was just as sociopathic as the people I was involved with. And believe me, it tasted bad, and I put it down with a whole bucket of suck. And it tasted bad too. But coming out the other side of that, realizing my enoughness, I am grateful, happy, joyful, and thankful for every experience that I've had. And the closest I come to a regret, a true regret, is not seeing Rush play live before Neil Peart passed away. And I'm sure that on some other timeline, there's a me that got to see them play. Okay, that's awesome. I don't know if you believe in alternate timelines. If you don't, well, hey, that's fine too. One thing we can do is mirror work, and that means looking into the mirror, looking into our own eyes, and projecting. Eye energy transfer, it's called EET. And I always put my hands on my heart, and I say, I am enough, I love myself, I am free. And then I say, Hawk, I'm proud of you for getting out of bed today. Hawk, I'm proud of you for making a morning video every day, encouraging others. Hawk, I'm proud of you for letting go of things and forgiving. Hawk, I'm proud of you for eating healthy. We do this for 7 items. Then we go, Hawk, I forgive you for not doing better. Hawk, I forgive you for hurting other people. Hawk, I forgive you for being hurt by other people. And we do this for 7 things. And project that love. Project your love to yourself. You're shooting it out of your eyes and it's bouncing back and coming back. Then, Hawk, I commit to you that we're going to keep doing this every day. Hawk, I commit to you that we're going to make today a great day just by deciding it is. Hawk, I commit to you that I'm grateful, happy, joyful, and thankful that we didn't jump off the cliff, the bridge, or pull the trigger on the gun. Hawk, I commit to you that I love you. Do this for 7 things. And then end off with, I am enough. I love myself. I am free. Because you deserve to be. And everyone around you deserves you being your enoughness, feeling your enoughness, experiencing your enoughness, and teaching them their enoughness. Can you imagine what it would be like if instead of putting each other down all the time, instead of demanding respect, commanding it just by who we are, if we went around encouraging everybody, if we were so impeccable with our word to and about ourselves and all others at all times that we never put anybody down, then we never took anything personally. And then we never assumed anything. And can you imagine what it'd be like doing your best all the time? No matter what. And always remaining skeptical because you don't know what you don't know. Living that way can be challenging. But living that way is living the 10 Commandments. It's living the yamas and niyamas of yoga. And it's living that golden rule. Treating others how we want to be treated. It is being impeccable with our word, never taking anything personally, always doing our best, never making assumptions, and always remaining skeptical. And it's okay to not hold other people responsible for how we're deciding to feel, not hold them hostage to our emotions. And it's okay to decide not to be offended by them. It's incredible what happens when we realize our own enoughness. Because our own enoughness means no matter if they are realizing their enoughness or not, we already are, and we know it. So thank you for joining me here. Thank you for coming here on Saturdays and learning how to soar, how to be free. Saturday soaring sessions. I'm really enjoying this. I'm really loving it. And if anything I ever say touches you, just touch your heart so that you remind your heart, yeah, that's the truth. Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, I identify with that. I can feel it. Love yourself. You are enough. Be free. Free yourself of those heavy emotional chains of your traumatic past. It's not as difficult as you would think. My abuse recovery method on YouTube will help. I'm working on getting the expanded version of it done so that I can put it up on Udemy and other platforms so that people can have some teaching around how to use it and how to let the energy go and get the energy to flow and how to be grateful for it. And when I started my journey, I was doing brain surgery with a dull hazard. Believe me, felt like Sigourney Weaver. Where is it? What is it? How am I going to get it out of me? Hurry up. I literally almost killed the body. My body was racking, literally throwing me off the floor about this high. Ego screaming out, stop, stop, we're going to die, we're going to die. And I'm like, okay, that's fine, die. I would rather let go of this body than continue to feel this way, and I am not going to pull the trigger. So since this is a way, either let it go or die. It was a self-imposed, self-directed, self-required nervous breakdown. My body still has not completely recovered. I'm working on it. I'm working on it every single day. But it required it. Because I couldn't walk around with that much self-hatred. I couldn't walk around with that much hatred for others anymore. I couldn't walk around with that much suffering based on fear anymore. And that's what my abuse recovery method is all about. Or my shadow work integration method. They are exactly the same thing. I just changed the name of one. When I release them as a true program, they're going to be different. But my abuse recovery method goes in, finds the energy where it's stuck, frees it and releases it, and then fills in with beautiful new loving energy so that you can be free. Be free to love yourself. Be free to love others. As we wrap this up for today, these Saturday soaring sessions aren't just for me, they're for you. Comment and let me know what you would like me to talk about. If I don't know, we can find out together. This is one means of us finding out together. Shadow work, it's not that hard. And it's nothing to be afraid of. People tell me, oh, you go where angels fear to tread. Well, let me tell you something. Being friends with angels, there's no place they fear to tread, especially right here in our own hearts. Remember that prayer is talking to God, and meditation is listening to God. And Jesus said, kingdom of heaven is within you. It's right there. All you have to do is listen. Seek it first. So know this, I love you. You are enough. Love yourself. Be free. Remember that always, because I love myself. I am enough, and I am free, and I love you.